Yeah. I don't know.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
Hey.
good.
So.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we want to plant like the community that we built in Salt Lake. Yeah.
That's for you, Lace.
And now San Diego is like a base there. What we want to do is we want to like make them so that we can sign them and start breaking them off. It's a real good. It's like nationwide. So if somebody created something about buyers all over. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right. How have you been, Jabez? Yeah. How's the growth? Like, how's the
It's going,
the raise?
yeah, it's always
It's about.
weird.
I mean, it's not raising money. Yeah.
It's a weird experience. It's just a bunch of conversations. It's you just out talking.
Yeah, and then also it's just like validating, like
And
the
then you're like,
conversations as well.
no, it's great. No, I mean I love connecting with people. Which is awesome. Part of it's super fun. And kind of are like you never really know what happened, then it's over. So you don't know when or how it
Yeah.
happened. It's a real lot of uncertainty. Um, but it is.
You teach. Is there an online course or online curriculum that you as well? Is it all in person?
Right now, only people in person.
Okay, only in person.
Yeah. So the online courses for Gonzaga summer.
Okay.
We don't do online during the school year.
What days do you teach?
Thankfully, this year I only had one semester.
Okay, one
So
class.
it's on Mondays.
Okay, Mondays.
Yeah.
Okay. Every Mondays? Every
Yeah.
Monday. So you were just
So-
teaching yesterday.
No, I flew in yesterday, so I had another professor.
Okay, yeah, to
for
cover.
me
Okay,
Day, and then the other week that I was gone on Monday, I think to San Diego.
yeah,
One I did first.
okay,
It's not just you can.
yeah, but it's just not
You're not
like
supposed
your
to do
daily.
that. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm working for you too.
How are for you guys?
We're good. I've just been, now you're good. I've just been putting together like the template of what it's going to take in order to councils, which is what I've called like chapters, but I wanted to call it a different name.
Okay.
And then creating the actual structure that it's going to take to have different leaders in different areas. And then also the structure around what that looks like. So, I'm identifying specific people that are committed inside of the network first and foremost. And then from there, I'm also creating, so there's like for the conference, which is completely separate, literally a different business inside of a business.
Yep.
the conference itself, the sales team to where when we
Oh,
ramp
okay.
up marketing, well, then we'll have hundreds and hundreds of leads that are coming in that must be called, that must be,
You're gonna-
validated.
That conference is gonna continue to get bigger.
Yeah, well, that's how I see it. So I was like, well, these smaller events that we're doing here are valid, but it's really important for us to understand what does maintenance look like as opposed to breaking bread for the first time in some area. So like that's
Yeah.
why what we've got in San Diego is a healthy, I believe, the start of the ecosystem based on the relationships that we have, based on our
I lived there, so like
I live there and like
connections there.
I'm very far away. So we've already scheduled our time to come back there on January 22nd.
Nice.
And with this next one, I'll probably do like a sponsor, so sponsorships, so 3 to 5 different sponsors, like a miniature aquacon in essence, as
Nice.
opposed to a meetup type. Because what's happening is as well, we're looking at the cost per the ticket, because anyone can afford 30 or get into that. So what I'm starting to look at is who are we attracting with some of our outbound marketing that's then attracting specific people, because we're getting enough leads to where we can start to see like, okay, this is legit, that's not legit, like that's not legit. As far as like if they just need investors and they just list out, not to say that you're different than just like, hey, I need money. When you're need help
No.
validating my startup idea to get money from an investor. You know what I mean? Like when somebody that lists something like that, like, no, I don't need that right now. We need seasoned entrepreneurs, seasoned
Right.
operators, people that are in private equity or investors, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's been different to go the route of a marketing campaign on channels as opposed to private communication with investor lists or VC. You know what I mean? Like it's a different ecosystem, and how to break into ecosystems that are different than just your, hey, Joe,
Right.
So those are some things we're looking at as far as the money that we spend out on all of these trips. There's also like the return, but also the people that we're associated with plus return, plus, you know what I mean? Like, do we come back to that city? Do we not at the moment?
I feel. All of these meetups. There's not.
Yeah, so-
Travel and
Yeah, so yeah,
$40 a ticket.
yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm looking
That
at. So I'm
doesn't-
like,
that doesn't
okay,
mean that-
well, and that's
Yeah,
what I'm
the
looking at
loss
because
there
I'm
is,
breaking, I'm breaking bread with some people that, like, for example, this lady right here is an amazing connector. She's got a lot of energy. She used to host events here. She knows like the entire system here in Austin, Houston, Dallas. She's like, oh, you need to go here. Oh, you need to stay away from here.
Yeah.
Like Nate, let me help you. I'll help you connect. And so she helped me connect with the economic development, like vice president or whatever, doing all of, they got basically the entire ecosystem they've created, and she plugged me directly into that. He should be here today, Roland. So I think he's gonna come and just see a little bit about what we're doing. But she connected me with him, and then her return. So like if we don't return to the places that we first go and open up, it's almost like, and if we're expecting a return, for individuals that, just want to be a part of a network right on the spot, then that's not a good position. We a good expectation that we should have on the business. One thing it is doing though is it's creating new relationships and new markets, and also on the back end, it's organizing our entire CRM system for every city. You know what I mean? Because like we have folders for every city, we have a spreadsheet for every city, we have like
You kind of start to end up. Okay, these are the cities we're gonna.
yeah.
These are the cities we're gonna have presence.
Yep.
You gotta go.
You got to go to there.
Up,
You got to go to Miami. We're going to Atlanta. Obviously, Houston. I like this whole triangle, Austin, Houston, and San. It's like that. 2026 position south in like that's why down here because a really good hotbed, extremely quick
A lot going
moving.
on.
You've got on the West Coast. That's why Salt Lake is so attractive. Everyone from Phoenix to um, you know, Francisco to so everyone just flies in. It's a 2 hour flight, 2.5
It's
hour
accessible.
flight.
Yeah.
So that's why Salt Lake is very strategic in its placement, as well as not to mention just like the economic development itself with 2034 for the Olympics and like,
Yeah.
you know, just a bunch of money
And
for
yeah,
it.
Been
Yeah.
doing a good job in the last years of thinking about taking the city to the next level. And they've
Yeah.
done a lot of.
They're implementing some of the most advanced things I've ever seen for a city to do. I mean, they're going to be doing flying transport now. They're like one of the
Oh, yeah.
first movers on that. They're
And
huge.
grants, like the first city to build that apartment complex
Yeah.
for homeless people.
They're first movers in like
tackling so
crypto.
many things.
You know, like
Yeah.
the crypto industry. Like literally, they'll pad their entire like they see the, and they're like, and this is like Mormon culture, but basically they're like, we're gonna be first at everything. Everyone is inferior to us. Like, trust me, that's what it is.
That is funny.
One of the race teams. Yeah. Like that's what you're talking about, you know, go taller and that thing being kind of part of.
Yep. We'll get started soon, okay? It's not recording or anything.
That's.
What's your name?
Come on.
Nice to meet you, sir. Nathan Bird.
Yeah.
Happy to meet you. Have you ever been up here before?
No.
Yeah, me neither. It's my wife. She picked it. So if it's good, I picked it. If it's not, no.
It's a good spot.
Yeah. You know, it's innovative. It's the view. So I know I was like, okay, God, please. It can't rain today. So come. Are you a builder? You build?
Yeah.
I mean, not like physical. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. What are you building?
An e-commerce company.
Okay. What's the name?
It's in Austin. Sorry.
Okay, Austin Bazaar.
We're e-commerce for music gear.
Music gear. Okay. I could see that being a pretty good business here.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people do the same thing, or is it?
Oh,
Do you have a market?
Local, we're e-commerce, 50 states.
Okay.
yeah.
We have some.
Make up.
Independently owned business in our industry.
Okay. Do you have connections to like music to be able to help the talent that stuff? Business?
Get notified in some way when the food arrives. Okay, so maybe I should have your phone.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the musical agents, but mostly work with the music brands like
Brand. Fender, Taylor,
Taylor, Gibson, and Martin. We're kind of brand partners.
Okay. We've got a few music industry, so I just.
So through that, artists, you know.
Yeah.
But that's kind
Concert, you probably could.
of, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I love music. And it's just love getting people together. Obviously,
So that was my first event with you guys. I don't know how we got invited, but
Yeah.
kind of looked interesting. So you run like.
yes, sir. They run the company. So we're just hosting these smaller meetups, you know, for people to meet different people in different cities
Yeah.
to be able to connect everyone. We
Okay.
connect everyone together through our national conference. So we have a big national conference. And then we also have all of our we have an online educational template. And then we also have various subject matter experts that will help you through M&A. So I'll talk a little bit more about it today, but that's the whole gist of it. It's basically a deal zone system that enables people to have access to minimize the time that it takes for you to do deals because there's a highly condensed, all the right people to be able to ask questions of. And that's what I realized because a lot of that are experts in the M&A space are siloed. So they have, one's over here and then you have to like go and research or talk to the next person and then you have to compile your own together.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's gotta be a better way. Like, let's do this, let's do it faster, but also it builds trust. That's why we do the in-person events as well, to be able to, get to know people and
Yeah. So you guys like a national organization?
we're building to be so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very based.
Yeah. So Salt Lake City,
Okay.
that's where it originated. And then from there, we've iterated, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you like, what do we need to build? What do we need to build? How do we talk to the people that need what we should build and then build it,
Yeah.
So it's like, what does the customers need? And go serve, go serve.
Let's get out the.
Okay, well, I'm sure we
Go ahead.
get everything rolling. Brad, he's raised over, but he'll be talking a little bit around how you can raise funds in a more better way. Ready? All right, awesome. So, I really wish we set up underneath here. It's all right though.
Maybe we can move the covering, but we
Yeah.
gotta get started.
Yeah, I know.
Your speakers, like,
All right. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's do this. You've got to head out, so
I
it'll
get to
be
be on the road by about 1, 2 o'clock. So yeah, plenty of time.
beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for showing up.
Ready to go. Yeah, just let us
You know, I never, that's what's gonna happen, but man, it's a beautiful day.
It could be better. I mean, it's not to be like that.
What we'll do is we'll drive traffic.
set up, so we
Yeah.
just start recording or.
Okay, this is on mute right now. It is technically ready, so we are live.
We need to do is start the video on the camera.
Oh, yeah, so we need to make sure that we have the mics for the actual camera to record. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Nathan,
JC, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you, sir. Did you hear about this?
Instagram, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
Instagram, well,
Instagram, and then I started following your podcast. And
okay,
yeah, it's you, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to put out the content that we're doing these in-person meetups, just to break bread a little bit with the right people. What are you building right now?
So I'm M&A.
Okay, perfect.
So I have a construction company, but before that I was in VC
Okay,
and helped sell a couple of my buddy's construction companies.
Yeah.
That got me back into this program.
Okay.
This treated me correctly, and I'm like,
hey, Lacey, it's right over there, side of that. It's, it's a similar language, right? Like, I think that the biggest thing, so he experienced one of our conference. My it's like, how do we solve some problems for the business owners that don't know all the things that they don't know throughout the transaction,
Right.
But also value creation prior to the exit.
right.
So I was a startup founder myself. I raised a few $100,000 for my tech platform.
Yeah.
And that's how I began, not just in business, but that's how I originally began my career. But then I owns a family business.
Yeah.
We're in the based industry where we sell maple products.
Oh.
So maple products. And I noticed, been speaking to my dad about, how are we going to structure the company correctly? Will we be exiting ever?
Yeah.
If so, how do you want an exit? So, even before we have really made it big, quote unquote, with the family business, it's all around in order, are we going to be, or like who is the suited buyer?
Right.
And then how do we create the company that's going to,
Absolutely.
and then from a legal structure as well, like, is it an LLC? Is it a C? Like, how big do we want to grow this company? You know what I mean?
And
So,
definitely family companies are difficult.
just
Yeah, get going.
before the sun gets everyone, yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah. Where are you guys from? Utah.
Yeah. Hopefully these batteries will last.
Can you like close it?
Yeah. Close to the. The cartel. Well, that's why an investment banker that took me under his wing started answering personally about, he shed some light on a real strategy, multiple arbitrage meant, and being able to structure like GP staking if I wanted to go that route, or it was just a completely different conversation in the world that I had been exposed to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think more people like me could know more about this, and let's create an inference and experience around the specific, that business that he's talking about, as well as the patient that he delivered. So, here we are today, and
That's
we're just, it's, any per se means, but it's just,
I mean, the kind of people got here right now. I've talked to right now. I think it's a good group of people that have some knowledge.
this show, he's a seasoned entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys met, but
Yeah, absolutely.
ready for this?
Just to check, so all that. Put on the camera, every.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure
Give them the. Yeah, your.
I know. All right, guys, we're gonna take a seat. I'm gonna welcome you guys. We're gonna go grab a seat, get comfy.
Got friends in Park City. Oh, yeah. St. George. So.
We need to, we can maybe. Yeah.
It's so hot and nasty.
We just here. You did okay. Nowhere near as positive.
Okay.
Where's she got?
Everybody, it's a beautiful day, sunny. I was hoping it wasn't gonna rain on us, and it didn't. So for those that got the shade, you're lucky duck. Absolutely. Maybe what we can do is we can kind of shift a little bit, right? We'll do a 15-minute on here, and then rotate sides as well. Okay, got to get my back. Hey. Well, I'm gonna take a swig. Man, that's what I love about the South. That's what I love about Austin. Is this actually considered the South? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Just Texas. Okay. Yeah. It's funny because I'm from Alaska, and they say Texas toast. It's the best toast. It's big. It's the biggest. It's the best. And I'm like, wait a second. Hold on, I think Alaska's like 3 times the size of Texas. Yeah. But no worries. Yeah, so today is a wonderful day. We've got a guest speaker. His name is Brad Blazar. He's going to be coming up and speaking about how he's raised over $2 billion in equity. That's one thing you guys can expect today. And secondly, you can expect to hear a little bit more about Acquisition IQ Network, as we do have a secondary fireside chat with Neil Conlon. He a military veteran, now turned AI entrepreneur. More about his story, as well as ways that he's implementing AI inside of businesses, because at the end of the day, we've got a lot of efficiencies that are happening within companies as we speak. And you guys already know this, right? We're here, we are either consulting with companies, and we're seeing that efficiencies, but also AI is just sweeping the entire industry. And we believe that if we can be at the forefront of creating culture, that's one of the biggest things that I believe in, is really the culture that you surround each other with, to be able to be held accountable, number one, but also to grow to the goals that you've set. So, because if you have goals and you set it, and then you don't achieve that and you don't have the right people around you, you're not living a fulfilled life. And I believe that that's what we're here for, is to maximize time, live a fulfilled life, and continue to create value for others. Those are some of the things that we believe in, my wife and I, as well as our organization. I'm gonna not there it is, perfect. Just had to get it started. Some of you have met me, some of you haven't, but at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a builder just like you guys. I want to make sure that I provide education, resources, and tools to my founders that are in business. That's why I do what I do. That's why I did the network. I love building networks. To this, I had raised a few $100,000 for a specific educational learning platform called WordBeam to be able to help individuals create content and monetize on their knowledge, albeit within one platform. So I know a little bit about, one, building software, able to scale, 3, being able to raise funds, and then also I do have in creating events as well as experiences, people. Not to mention that I'm married here to my beautiful wife, Lacey Bird, and she holds me accountable. How about that? Does anyone have a wife in? Anybody married or husband? If you're a female, yeah, you guys get it. They continually hold you accountable, continue to sharpen who you are, and ultimately the goals you want. So, if you're not living that life, so here we go. What to expect? Like I said, today we've got light refreshments. Actually, it's going to be a full-fledged lunch. We decided to just go for get you some. That's going to be coming at 12. I'll let that sit just a little bit on your. Like I said, we'll present just a little bit about the AIQ National Network, because right now they're just in a regional event, so it's a small little meetup. Like I said, I'd love to be able to know you guys here with Austin. Really cast a vision. I was telling Amy just the other day is we're going to be casting a vision for Austin and how we create something called councils. I didn't want to do chapters because chapters seem to be old. I'm in with the new. Council seems a little more upscale as well. So anyway, moving on. This is our network.
That's why we created the Acquisition IQ Network, a highly curated community built for seasoned entrepreneurs, investors, and M&A service providers. For entrepreneurs and operators, it's a place to master acquisition strategies, unlock new growth, and prepare for the ultimate exit. For investors, private equity, venture capital, and high net worth individuals, it's direct access to vetted off-market opportunities where capital meets real opportunity. And for M&A service providers, from lawyers, advisors, brokers, and bankers, it's the chance to plug into a trusted ecosystem and bring deals to life. Our mission is simple. That's the time it takes to find the right people, expand access, and execute deals with confidence. The Acquisition IQ Network, where capital and opportunity come together to create lasting value.
So that's just a little bit of a highlight. I like to start with problems. With any business, you're going to start with problems. And I'm going to list out just a few problems that we're solving as a group. But let's first start. So we have problems. The problems first that I began with was, one, I spoke to an investment banker. He gave me a lot of insight as to what companies go through when they're about to be banked, right? So there's an entire process there. There's how do we raise the funds needed? How do we structure the company properly? They gave me the playbook and said, Nathan, this is what I go through on a daily basis. It kills me to have to continually, not in a bad way, but to continually have to share with these individuals all the information I have. Whereas if they were, maybe take a course or go to a conference or something like that, then we'd be able to quickly get to the decision table. So I said, well, why don't we create an entire ecosystem, an entire conference called Acquisition Conference to help educate those individuals that you're looking at problem that you're expressing to me. So, and that sounds like a great idea. So that's where WCON Acquisition Conference was born, and then off see the small little ecosystem today, but also the larger ecosystem in all the cities and states that we're connecting, which is called the AIQ or National Network. So team development is the problem that we're around M&A and the transaction, because a lot of M&A service providers, they're siloed. I'm sure you probably understand this as an M&A advisor. You're like, okay, well, where's my tax strategist? Where's my CFO? Can we get them all on the same page? Where's my exit planner? So there's a multitude of individuals, and if you aggregate those all, just knowing that you have built the trust, that you have validated the deal, that you have validated the people, then all of a sudden it increases your level of access to the education, as well as it speeds up the process because you already have a trusted environment. I think I'm speaking to the crowd or speaking to the choir here by some already know the power of networks, but it's the power of the right people and the right network with the right intent and with a pretty significant good leadership team, which I'll establish here in just a second as far as leadership team. How to acquire a company, how to scale a company, how to exit a company, how to raise funds, how to develop. So these are all the things that we're starting to implement, and as well, we have subject matter experts in each of these areas that can answer these questions. So how to raise develop a fund, and then also access to deals. That's why we've got Brad here speaking about his specific capital school. Collapse time, increase access, and continue to create value. Create value. Create value. That's what we do. So as far as leadership, I believe in a world-class organization, and within a class organization, there has to be present 5 core key pillars. I believe here is vision and purpose. Again, to solve the problems, to collapse time, because to live the life of purpose. I said earlier today. Culture. So how we structured this organization is we have each of those founding members. Currently, we have 50 founding members as a part of the organization, and each of those act as a sounding board for the entire of the company. So Wells here, he's actually one of our founding members. Jabez right here, founding members. He flew in from Washington. Gentleman's here from Houston, correct? So he drove in from Houston. And then we've got Colby Taylor right over there. He's one of our founding members with Taylor Proactive Team out in City. So we're continually connecting as well connected to individuals all over the U.S. People and talent. Again, we're recruiting the best talent, the most brilliant entrepreneurs that are operating their current companies, as well as individuals that have significant track records. And I believe that I want to go countercultural to some of the individuals with acquisition space that have to be the subject experts themselves. I believe in the power of numbers. I believe in the power of the collective. The network is way powerful, I believe, than just one individual that is teaching specific things. So I'm sure you guys have probably experienced that yourselves, but collaboration will in essence help us scale whatever we're looking for. Strategy and execution. We have a very strategic roadmap to be able to scale this organization across multiple cities and states. We also have done a conference multiple times now, which is our national conference. So we know the exact template. We know the exact of the individuals that we're serving. We're starting to get extremely dialed in on that, which again creates more value for everyone that comes into our sphere, into our ecosystem. Customer and impact. For us, it's not just about building business, it's about making a true impact. And I don't just say that because how many of you guys are associated with any nonprofits, or not just nonprofits, but maybe for-purpose, mission-driven statements? Anyone? So how does it make you feel, Brad?
Feels great.
It feels great, but you know that you're living a life that's than just yourself.
Yep.
I believe that we're creating, again, this isn't just, hey, let's do a deal and let's walk away and hope that, we maybe see each other or not. Let's actually build something of impact. Let's build something of legacy. I call it the legacy-filled lifestyle. So if you continue to look at a long-term approach to the value we create, it completely shifts your perspective. Thank you for being here. Seriously. Are you connected to any cool things? Yeah, nationally. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Well, that's Amy, everybody. She's amazing. I feel like we should just give her a round of applause just because, but well, maybe later. No tricks later. No, but anyway, this won't be too long. I just wanted to get you guys a little bit kind of like ingrained into this, into what it is we've created, into the people that have been a part, where we have been, but also where we are and also where we're going. So where we have been and also what we've done so far, we did a national tour during the summer. Crazy. It's a crazy tour. We went from Reno all the way to, we actually had to postpone Atlanta and Nashville, but we basically did Reno, Sacramento, San Francisco, San Diego. You probably can't see that, but basically 10 different cities, very similar to this, breaking bread, getting to know you guys. And then from there, the organization grew. It continued to grow. We welcomed new members, and then we launched both acquisition conferences in 2025. We had both March 2025 and September 2020 acquisitions. We've continued our YouTube library. We've launched a fall tour that you guys are now a part of. We cannot forget picture. And then also launched the bi-weekly educational events that we do stream live all across the nation for you. So there's derive value that we. I wanted to thank people again. You don't to where we're at today without having people that believe in a crazy mission with a crazy entrepreneur who continues to share a future that's a little bit different than the present. So Colby with Taylor Proactive Team, come on up here real quick. Share with us a little bit more about what you're doing and how you can help the entrepreneurs out there.
Hey guys. Morning. So I just want to give a little bit of a background about what we do. Our strategy is what we do, and I'll give a little bit of what we do. So last year, well, this year we had 2 business owners come, and last year we sold their business. What I think is they wrote checks for millions of dollars, and they still did the basic tax planning. We thought they did everything possible to eliminate that large tax bill. Unfortunately, we had to tell them that they could have saved 60 to 70% more in taxes through our.
What's up? Oh, my mic's on. This goes to the internet, the Zoom, because we're streaming. He doesn't have a mic. He's just quiet.
We're able to save them 25 what they already paid, but they could have saved 60 to 70. Now, we do this for a lot of other people as well. So one example is we have a large tech executive in Silicon Valley that put this work is W2. Last year we saved 5 million, but this year we saved 5 million taxes. This is a W2 employee who was told today that save money on taxes goes over to 200. And 2, they also told them you shouldn't have to pay those taxes because even that is just you're providing so much value to.
It's a good thing the government shut down. So is the IRS. Keep shut down forever.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about us. This is their practice team. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate this.
Thank you. Yeah, the team and also his father. I swear I've never called anybody this before, but he's a tax savant. So just knows it back and forth. So anyway, that's Taylor Proactive Team. Thank you so much for your support. Another group of individuals, I have to have them. They don't necessarily need to stand up here today, but I did call them out. Again, raise your hand one more time if you're a founding member. So we got Bob Wells, Colby, and then we've got Jabez, and from different places and driven from different places. One to me, as other individuals, and then also provide support to the group. Within the group, I mean, shoot, we've got this gentleman. He used to be in Lazard, which is a very prestigious M&A firm over in New York. So he's actually one of our founding members. This lady here, she's the CEO of Business Boosters, which is a large organization that helps to continually increase and grow companies. We've got this gentleman out in Sacramento. His name is Chris. He exited his company and is looking for his next investment. We've got Patrick. He focuses on quality of earnings. And this, my friend Jason Jenkins, he was actually one of our speakers at the last acquisition conference. We do have filmed, and if you guys want to watch any of the entire conference, we've got Jason Jenkins was one of our keynote speakers, but he works with, he heads up their marketing team as well as all of their outbound person sales training. And they've been through 78 different acquisitions. So he has a lot of different, insights to that. Some billion-dollar financial firm. And then we've got Brad Burdock. He's out in Utah. He built something called the Way Brown Institute. They rolled up hundreds and hundreds of startup companies and was able to help them get rounds of funding to connections to mentorship. It's now called Connect Capital. So if you look at Connect Capital, so anyway, he started Connect Capital. These individuals are very strategic, and this is just 8 of the many that we have. So anyway, lastly, I just want to show you guys a quick visual of the actual conference, because these small events are just honestly in momentum, and it goes directly into the national conference from everyone that's all over the city, multiple cities.
2025 was nothing short of extraordinary. We kicked off with Reed Tileston's epic Mount Everest story, packed with business wisdom. Jamie Miller lit up the stage with powerful insights on communication and negotiation. And our funding panel unlocked the secrets to raising capital. The law that eat with tax strategies and structure before we grow for an incredible network. The afternoon raised the bar even higher as we learned from an expert sellers, panel and fund creation 101 with Adam Kendrick. And lastly, a powerhouse session from Paul Hickey on IPO versus VC. To cap off this event experience, the AquaCon VIP dinner featured 5-star cuisine, an incredibly entertaining comedian, and a moonshot goal setting session. AquaCon 2025 delivered knowledge, deals, and relationships that last a lifetime. See you in Salt Lake City, March 5th and 6th, 2026 for the next chapter of the Acquisition IQ National Conference, AquaCon.
I swear, it just gets me every time. It literally started with like 20 people, just like this, where we were just chit chatting about, hey, we should start a massive conference. Like, if you guys, if any of you know, it's like, why not try the hardest thing first and then just work your way backwards. So that's in essence what a conference is. But we've been able to pull it off, and it's with the help of a lot of other people, and it's with the sound, educational backed, no fluff engagement is what we really believe in. So moving on, future focus, we got our bi-weekly education in-person meetings from December 25th through the December 4th. If you guys know anybody in any of these cities, we're going to open the door for any of your friends or any people that you know. Of course, in the space, they've got to actually qualify. We're just making sure that our ecosystem is very strong. We've got our workshops that we're going to be starting to implement. And then from there, we've got, this is our schedule. This is really small, so I know you guys can't see that, but in essence, we've got a multitude of events that are happening both in person and online, all leading up to the conference. But the 3 dates that are most important is 10/16 is leadership development and team ops. That is actually over. We just finished that. That's okay. Don't judge us. We're on the road, but we did film that. We do have it recorded, and it is uploaded on the Acquisition IQ Online Education YouTube channel. That is our playlist, to where every single time with any of the education, it's uploaded to. That's for members only. That is specifically where we're talking around specific deals that people are going through, that you're looking to get into. So, hey, can we validate this use case? And then again, it's a hive mentality. How can we help? What can we do? How can we help you succeed in that specific deal? And then funding your business, which is actually an open invite as well, 10/24. So that brings me our guest speaker. But before that, I want to actually do these people right here. So I'm going to go right here, here, and here, and then right in the back, just real quick. What do you do? What do you do? And then how you help others? And then what you're looking for. Don't want to take too long because we have this gentleman coming up right away. Right here.
I'm Brian in Dallas, Texas. At our name, I started briefly in 2000. Growth tech. So currently I'm still doing some growth tech, which sells. Some buy side of well, and from an industry standpoint of what adding those values is I've done a lot of pre and post integration with art and section. I think it can help with the life cycle of the wheel. Kind of a holistic story. That's helpful. Certainly my network was really good. Going back to the .com days, that worked with our freedom from there. Helped me with that throw that network over time. I make sure that.
Was it Mark? Is he around here? Is he around Austin? Oh, I was like, dang it. It's like, shit, I gotta call the guy, get him out here. Let's go right back here. Thank you for sharing, by the way. Thank you. Might have to speak up just a little bit, a little windy and all that. Yeah. There you are.
My name is Jacob. And we should have been fast now, but like that. My needs to acquire.
In the back.
Josh, wow, kind of a mixed bag. I mean, investor, entrepreneur, innovator. Current projects are suites, skilled nursing, assisted living, memory care, also real estate projects, artificial intelligence, data centers, true to form. So I can't see it's not just like commercial buildings where any stuff next generation technology tools, artificial intelligence data centers, quantum computing, micro nuclear reactors. So we've got some of those development projects that are on building. We are active investing help to connect people to capital. So it's new space. Kind of goes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll do you because you're a speaker. We'll do right behind you. Yeah.
My name is Zach. I've been a software engineer for about 12 years today at a big corporate law firm in New York City. I've been exec, founder, and entrepreneur on the engineering side of tech solutions for, like I said, about 12 years now. And I stepped into a role in an auditing firm in the blockchain space back in February. And thinking I was going to go start an AI startup, and didn't have to be much behind a laptop. I didn't want to be. So, as of
Makes sense.
I'm excited to start a search, trying to acquire a business here in Fort Texas.
Beautiful. Well, that's the right guy. He's gonna need a lot of help.
No,
I don't mean it like that, but like.
I agree.
Oh, you did it. Let's go. Hey, town. No, do you still have the 907? No, for real. When you see, and I said this last event, but it's like, man, when you see somebody that has the 907, which is the only area code in the whole state of Alaska, you bond immediately. Like, wait, where are you from? Anyway, guys, and then we'll get the other half a little bit later, but just want to again set the stage. We've got Brad Blazar, so I'm going to read off his bio, and again, we just want to thank you so much for coming. Brad Blazar, renowned expert, author, and international speaker known as the $2 billion guy. He raised more than $2 billion in capital through his efforts and the teams he has led. As the founder of the Capital School, Brad trains entrepreneurs, real estate investors, owners on how to attract and raise from net worth individual family offices and institutional investors. He started his career as the CEO of a small oil company at a young age. Brad had spent over 3 decades mastering the art of building trust and relationships to secure investment. Today, he shares his proven raising capital, businesses worldwide, others to expand their mindset, elevate their influence, and unlock access to wealth through strategic capital formation. We just want to welcome Brad Blazar to the stage.
All right. Slip through here.
Thank you, sir.
All righty.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
There's your clicker. You're good to go.
All right. Beautiful. All righty. I didn't realize when Nathan called me and invited me to come speak here at his event that I would get to do three things. Speak. Number two, meet some great people along the way. And number three, get a 10 in the process. So a pretty cool setting. City speak there about 3 weeks ago and as well, very similar to this, looking out over the Hudson River. But today I want to focus on raising capital. Business, in order to scale and grow, using other people's money or accessing investor capital is really, as far as I'm concerned, your game changer. And here today with me, I want you to basically, how do I go back here? Can I reverse it? Oh, there it is. Yep. I want you to be asking yourself a question. And this is something that I really focus on as I'm consulting business owners and as I'm consulting entrepreneurs is what is the seat at the big kids table for you? I want you to think about that because it's my belief that most people, as we go through that journey we call life, eventually get to a point where they reach a level of success and they're like, man, what's next? It feels like they're a level 10 person, maybe stuck in a level 4 opportunity, right? It feels that way. Gotta be honest with yourself. You see, as we go, sometimes what we realize is that it doesn't matter how many hours we put into the work week. It doesn't matter how hard we work. Sometimes the vehicle we're in will just never get us where we want to be. You know, in certain professions like teaching, right? Teaching is a very admirable profession. We certainly need that in the world. But many quote in our teachers out there doing, right? The teachers have learned in things state.
You get more battery.
Small businesses like HVAC company, car washes, and what happens over time is they get to a passive income, supports their lifestyle, and now they can walk away and quit the rat race. Who has read the wonderful book Rich Dad Poor Dad? Okay, I see a lot of hands. Robert Kiyosaki talk about it as the real underpinning of that book. It's buy assets, create passive income. And that most people go to work every day and exchange time for money. You can learn just invest in assets that create and now have freedom. And it doesn't take very long to do that. The success is doing it with people's money. Who here has actually bought a business before? Has anybody purchased a business? Let me see a show of hands. You have. Fantastic. Some real estate. That's everybody else, right? So today what we want to focus is how to do this, but do it using other people's money. So I have 3 promises to you today that have not raised money before, have not worked with investors. I want to kind of distill the myth. I want to that might be holding you back. Because over the course of my professional career, I have literally consulted, mentored, and coached hundreds of people. Do that today globally. We have clients literally in countries all over the world. Australia, in Canada, in the Middle East, and Latin America, all successful using capital. Because the systems, structure, and how you do it is exactly the same. It doesn't matter where you are on planet Earth. The only thing really that's different is the regulatory environment in the country you're in. but the systems you say to people, how you capture interest is exactly the same. So I want to help, number one, understand this, the investor interest, how to pique their interest, how to move them forward. Process that builds trust, and at the end of the day builds a relationship, because really that's what it's all about. People invest in people they know, like, and trust. Number two, I want to give you some confidence. Unfortunately, as we go through life, we start buying into this little computer up here in our head tells us. That Zig Ziglar had many years ago when he was, out there speaking. He said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. And one of my very good friends today, and one of my mentors, is a gentleman by the name of Tim Grover. If you don't follow Tim Grover, look him up on, follow him today. He's somebody basically that used to coach Kobe Bryant, Jordan. Yes. So he is the personal to the top 1% of the top athletes in the world. The difference between them and everybody else that's playing in the sport is their mindset. They don't buy into their feelings. You got at 4 in the morning, I feel going to the fitness center. But what I've learned is listen to my brain, do the things that I know I should be doing. The difference with true professionals and those that at the highest, they don't buy into their feelings. I had 2 friends that this past weekend did an event in Utah called the Marathon 240. Most of us can't even run a marathon. These people 240 miles in Utah, through the mountains, through the desert. I mean, I guarantee miles in, they're thinking I could be at home eating a hamburger. I could be with my family. But what does it take to go 240 miles? It takes mindset. And it's the same thing with raising capital. 3, we're going to talk about how to use other people's money ethically, strategically, and more importantly, to do it at scale. Now, one thing that people sometimes don't understand is that when we raise capital from investors, we get the securities business. Okay, let me explain to you what a security is. A security is an investment contract. And most people know that an investment contract or security is highly regulated. You have the SEC and then every single state, you have a securities commissioner. Here in Austin, we have the Texas State Securities Board. That's not too far. So there's a regulatory with, and the definition of a security or investment contract actually goes back to a very famous U.S. Supreme Court decision, where the U.S. Supreme Court had to determine many years ago what is an actual investment contract. And it comes down to 4 things. Number one is there an exchange of money? Am I investing? Well, certainly if I'm investing with any one of you, there's an exchange of capital. Number 2, am I investing in a common business enterprise? Number 3, do I expect a return on my investment? And here's the last one. Am I relying on the efforts of somebody else or other people to generate that return for me? If the answer to those things is yes, you're in the securities business. And it doesn't matter whether it's one person or whether it's 100 people. You got to abide by the rules of the game. Because if the deal doesn't work out as planned, you know, say bad things happen to good people. Good intentions can easily get thrown out of the window. It's a natural disaster. Or worse yet, another event like COVID. Look at the disruption that COVID brought to business owners. One investor is going to open up a can of worms, and if procedurally you didn't do some of the things that you were supposed to do, you're in big time trouble. So we're going to talk about that here today as well. But here are the 3 pillars of acquisition strategy. Number 1, you should have a deal. Okay? You don't have to have a deal, but you should have a deal. You guys that are here know how to source deals. There are plenty of businesses out there that you can acquire. And sometimes the wealthiest people I've met have sexiest businesses. Please read the wonderful book next door. And talks about you can build true financial independence for yourself and your family. Literally create a legacy. Just declare on sexy businesses, HVACs, laundromats, car washes, generate cash flow. They all grow in value. Accessing capital, how to build investor relationships. And my personal belief is that you should be developing investor relationships all the time. Having a database saying, hey, Kent, would you like me to put you on a list of people I keep on my desk and give you a call at some point in the future when I have something I think you can get really excited about? When he says, yeah, please do that, he goes right over here into my database. And then when I have the deal, I'm not starting at zero. Hopefully I got a list of 50 or 60 or 80 people said, yeah, put me on your list. Then you see, I now have the propensity. I now have the ability to bring certainty to my outcome just to raise the capital I need in order to get that project or that deal closed. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how you can execute. Because I think one of the struggling problems many people have is they go out, they're trying to raise capital, they flounder, yet they get objections, or they get people that say no. A lot of times they don't realize they're making a very small mistake. And if we could just fix that small mistake, it changes the whole landscape. You see, I've coached literally thousands of people on raising capital. Some of my students have literally raised tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, and today they have portfolios of real estate or business acquisitions in the hundreds of millions. And I actually consult a few $1 billion. But the biggest mistake when they get started is they pitch in the process. So you got a deal, you got a business that requires, and you're talking to people, and right away you're talking about this wonderful, great opportunity. I have a word for that. I call it premature presentation. There's no pill that solves for that problem, gentlemen, but here's the secret. People typically present a great opportunity. When I pitch somebody, they're going to be polite and kind and say, oh, it sounds like an interesting opportunity, Brad. Can you send me some information so I could take a better look at it? They're just saying that to be polite, aren't they? Then I can send them everything. And you're wondering, why is nobody investing with me? See, the big mistake is you. There's no trust. There's no relationship. It's kind of like dating. So slow down and speed up. Spend time with people. Give them the opportunity of really getting to know you, what you stand for, what your values are. And push the presentation off to maybe meeting number 3. Meeting number 4, you should really be asking is, tell me about the best investment you've ever made. People are going to be excited to tell you that. When you invest, what types of things are you looking for? Are you looking for growth? Are you looking for income? How important are tax benefits to you? All of those questions will help you actually do a better job presenting the opportunity to that person when the time is right. Now, a little bit about myself. First of all, Nathan did a great job of introducing me, but for those of you who don't know me, I was the founder of the Morning Company, and it's really great to be back in Austin because we were actually in the Indeed building right across the street, which was the old American Bank building. For those of you that have been in Austin for many years, we had the entire 3rd floor back in the 80s and early 90s, and I used to have a house right over here on the river. It's great to be back here in Austin, Texas. I'm a 3-time author. Book number 4 is actually coming out later this year. And you can find all of my books on Amazon. Just go to the search and just put my name in there, Brad Blazer, and you'll actually find all 3 books. I've got a couple. I see some of you have already picked one up in the back. So take one of my magazines called Business in Action. We publish a bi-monthly magazine. And if you'd like to get on the subscription list, just get a copy and then just send us a DM and just say magazine or something, and we'll put you on the list and get your information. So you get that delivered to your home every 2 months. The first book was actually the one in the middle, On the Wings of Eagles. And it was actually, ready for this? 35 years ago and never completed. It was actually on a floppy disk. I had started it back in the late 1990s to kind of chronicle my success as a young entrepreneur in the oil and gas business. And after I had my daughter, she's now 14, I was cleaning out my office and I found this little floppy disk. And I said to myself, geez, here I told my daughter that when she starts a project, she should finish it. And here I've set a pretty poor example. I got to polish this thing off and I got to finish writing this book. Well, I didn't even get the data off a floppy disk because we don't use them anymore. It was a smart. So I had to get the off of this and send it to me as a file, which they helped me do. But that was my, and what really started for me and my consulting business is that the book was self-published. A friend of mine was going to buy it. And he called me, he said, you know, your book is the #1 book in the United Kingdom right now on a major literary blog for young entrepreneurs. I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no. And so sure enough, I Googled it. On this big literary book to go over the top 10 books for young entrepreneurs, and I was on the list. And so what does a smart person do? He takes that and he sends it to the deans of the major business schools here in the United States that have programs of entrepreneurship. And so I started getting calls. Hey, Brad, we'd love to have you come speak to the students. Would you do that? Sure. So here I am flying around the entire country at my own expense, speaking to students, and then eventually getting interviewed on radio and TV. And that was actually a field, a professional keynote speaker, until somebody pointed that out to me. And as they say, the rest is history. Today, I've shared stages with some of the most these like Floyd Mayweather, multiple sharks, like guys on Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington, and I've just built some amazing friends at the upper echelon, the coaching and mentoring and consulting business. So let's talk about the power, how people's money truly unlocks wealth, how you can build a legacy. If you look at the richest, wealthiest people in the world today, more often than not, they understand other people's money. The plan, if you look at Houston, at a lot of these buildings, how do you think they get financed? Many of them here have been financed with investor capital, especially the multifamily and the self-storage. I literally raised hundreds of millions of dollars for today. What's one of the 5 top 10 storage companies called SmartStop out of Laguna Niguel, California. The whole has been financed with investor capital. Rich people understand that money is just a tool. And the better you understand that, and the better you put that to use, the faster you can go from point A to point B and get where you ultimately want to be financially in life. Okay? 2, doing bigger deals faster. Small deals are great, but I like bigger deals. When I started investing in real estate, I started like most people with a single rental house. And I got 5, and I got 10. And then this is a very dysfunctional business because I'm driving all over town, meeting contractors and landscapers and painters. If I just had one building and had 20 units under one roof, I could go to one location and get 20 rent checks at the same place. That would make my life easier. So I started selling my single family rentals and I started putting my over here to multifamily.
That'd be perfect.
And today, my company with my partner, we have about a little over 1,100 doors, just north of about $120 million in multifamily. And now we're actually raising capital to invest in data storage because we perceive data storage and data centers as really the real estate of the future. You're still storing data. The companies that are storing it are paying you rent. But the best part about the data storage business is there's no tenants, there's no toilets, and there's no trash. And I love that model. And the cash flow is absolutely amazing. So we're going to talk about basically how you shift your mind from I can't afford it to who can help me buy it. One lesson in life, and this is what I call a golden nugget of information. Most people that don't know how to do something do what? They go to Google and they say, how do I do this? How do I buy this?
Thanks for coming.
It's the wrong question. I want you to change your thinking and quit asking yourself,
Okay.
how do I do this? Start asking, who can show me how to get it done? See, out in the world,
Oh,
there are people that can actually show you and actually give you the blueprint to pretty much do anything you want to do. You want to learn how to buy multifamily? There's plenty of people out there that have built $100 million corporations and companies that will teach you exactly how to do that. My good friend Brad Sumlin, Cleve, Hunter Thompson, on social media, these guys have built fortunes in the multifamily space. You want to learn how to invest in data storage and data centers. There are people out there like us that are doing that too. You want to learn how to attract and raise capital. There are people like me that have raised a lot of money. Honestly, I've raised more than anybody else my company has identified on social media, because most people have raised in the millions, and here we are at $2 billion plus, and we have people all over the world. Let's talk about building trust. Number one, the most important thing in raising money is building trust. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will invest in you until they know you, like you, and trust you.
Not in when he was
Here's the secret. There's actually a process of what the money goes through in building trust. Most people understand this concept. And so what I've done is I've taken information from a wonderful book called The Trust Economy. It's written by a psychologist named Philippe.
No.
And he was talking in the book, and I put it together in the frame. Trust the person.
I got it.
Guys don't realize this when you start courting a person to understand whether she trusts you enough to move forward and actually ultimately perhaps become your spouse and your partner in life. That's kind of the first-step blueprint. Remember, we talked about the biggest mistake that most
Camera.
usually in the first interaction with people. It is not a script. I don't want to give you scripts. I want you to put things in your own words. It's a four-step frame that reminds you, here's what I'm supposed to do in the first interaction. Is to do in the second interaction. Here's what I'm supposed to do in the third interaction. And so when you think about raising money, this is real important. What you're doing is you're taking a potential investor and think about putting them on a conveyor belt. Just moving through a larger process. Call number one is just basically an introductory call, asking questions.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send them something of interest to pique their interest. A little teaser, podcast, to
I don't know.
something that shows that I'm a credible person. And then about a week to 10 days later, there's going to be a second interaction. It's a follow-up call.
Yeah, because
Did you get the information? Wait, I asked more questions. Joe, I need to put you on my list and call you back in the future when I have something of interest. Sure. A week later, now I'm pitching because I've got a deal. We got a project that I'm trying to capitalize. And then I'm answering questions and I'm closing. And what I'm doing is I'm just rinsing and repeating that cycle. And that's how we raise capital.
But no, I just.
It might be $50,000 from one investor. It might be $200,000 from the next investor. It varies, obviously, depending on the net worth and who you're actually talking
Thanks for
to.
coming in. So this is Brad.
Storyteller.
Sir. He's our guest speaker.
Every investor
2 billion in equity.
wants to know your story.
Projects and connected with family offices.
Why are you doing?
You just do it as
You
work
do.
as far as how you can.
I have no idea why they go to work every day.
We'll do a break.
Some people, why they show up and go to work every day, they say it's because I have to. I got a job. I got an employer that expects me to be at my desk.
From there,
It's not why you go to work.
I'll pull in a little bit.
Who here has heard others talk about finding your purpose in life?
yeah.
What do you- Yep. Do you feel that you really have one? Inside, do you feel that you really have, you understand your purpose in life is? Why you wake up and you go to work every day?
It's already here.
See, I've said that 95% of the people say, yeah, I kind of think I do. In reality, they have no idea. I'll share a story with you that changed perspective on
Get
this.
this AV.
3 years ago, I was at an event. There was a gentleman speaking that today is a very good friend of mine. His name is Matt Monero, and he runs 3 companies in Dallas that have about $100 million a year in gross revenues. And he's written a great book that's called Grit. Talks about resilience and having grit. And he was sharing a story. He said, 2 years ago, it was Christmas Eve. And my brother-in-law and my son, 3 kids came to celebrate Christmas Eve and have dinner with us. And so the kitchen, Matt said, and me and my brother-in-law went upstairs to watch football in what we call the green room. It's here in Texas, the big rooms. So he is, and in the third quarter of the game, his brother-in-law falls asleep on the couch. Now we're in the fourth quarter. He said, all of a sudden, my brother-in-law left the couch like he had seen a ghost, and I was startled. I said, you okay? And he said, yeah, I think so. And then Matt said he dropped his head and he looked up at me and he said, can I share something with you? And I said, yeah, I mean, your family. And he said, he looked at me with a stare that I will never forget. He said, I wanted to tell you, Matt, that I was recently diagnosed with cancer, and it's pretty bad. This is on Christmas Eve, by the way. And Matt's like, well, how bad is it? He said, it's stage 4, and the doctors have given me about 6 to 8 months. What does Susie say? Now, Susie's the wife downstairs in the kitchen. Any of you want to take a stab at what the answer to that was? She doesn't know. He told his wife that he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And so, Matt, is that you told your wife that you were diagnosed with terminal cancer? And now his brother-in-law just starts breaking down in tears because he doesn't have a will. He doesn't have life insurance. He hadn't planned for this because he's in his 40s. And of course, Matt says, well, you know, it's time to man up. We got to go downstairs. I'm here to support you. So they go downstairs, and every emotion that we can empathize and experience came out that night. The hugging, the loving, the uncertainty. And it wasn't even 6 months. It was 3 months, and they said goodbye. The next day, Matt was getting ready to go to work. Came down. Her name was Cookie, and he could tell that she had been crying upstairs because her mascara was all running down her face, and she was very flushed. He said, what's wrong, honey? She said, I'm thinking about my sister, Matt. They're not privileged people because she's going to have to sell the house. She might have to get on welfare. She might have to get another job. And Matt just smiled and said, it's going to be tough. I understand that, honey, but God has a way of working miracles in people's lives. It'll work itself out. That day, he called his sister-in-law and invited her and the 3 boys to come over that weekend so they could play in the pool and barbecue. And at the end of the evening, as they were hugging and saying goodbye, he opened up the lapel to a sports coat and he handed her a Hallmark gift card. And she broke down in tears. She said, we cannot take this from you. He said, oh, yes, you can. And more importantly, you will, because you're my family. Inside that envelope, there was a check for $3 million. He said, I'm the insurance policy your family never had. Now, I got emotional sharing the story, but then he said, who here in the room, if you're a gentleman, wants to be like Uncle Matt? And every hand immediately shot up. He said, who here wants to be like Uncle Cookie? And every lady, he said, hand. He said, folks, now you understand what purpose in life is. I am the foundation and the bedrock for my family and those that I care about. When I heard that, it gave my entire new, because now I am the foundation of my family for those that are close to me, because I now have the ability to do the same thing as well. You see, other people's money is you to do. You here just build it, follow your $5 million, generate 60% house. Think about what you know, this you have on what you're doing for doing it. Because when I talk the mess for, they say, upset, like you do, you're doing this for them. It's the good your capital can know what the hell they're organization. Who will tell you what their money to? See, if I'm talking to $7,000 a year, he may say, well, you know, one of my biggest problems is taxes. Like if investment has somebody else I got to put through a couple years. See how the appreciation is. Next, see him solving it. Remember this. Temptation that is solved. Connection that feeling and like now they're social media. Is that a bad thing? It's a good thing. Giving you the up or you. You should. You should. You do this. Person likes you, trust you enough to move forward in the you feel like going around in circles. I call that randomness in motion. It's when you think you're crap, but it's not getting that. Development person, if I trust you and put me on you and call me back when you have, I could get excited about what is opportunity. Chasing them. I'm not coming to them from a place of desperation. I'm calling you. Ask me to. You see how that changed? When you get to a this is where we investors job for in their network. Again, it's not asking, do you know? It's like doing shuts down the mind. Say, who are you? So be up the mind. Please ask questions that in the mind and open up the mind.
My good friend Amy, she's
Look at the bank model. Why is this? Using the business, selling it. That is the model. As the see when you refinance more valuable. His returns are infinite. We can do the same state as we can with businesses, but invest returns in peace of mind and cash flow.
What does it take to be a member?
As a business owner, consider
The
mine.
first person I thought of because
What am I going to do?
this thing like
Put it into a holding company, larger. You see, the thing I want to get is, and this is very important, is each one of you here is a
we
brand.
did. That's all.
Okay, you set at a huge business.
No, Gonzaga University.
The apple on the back of the phone is worth a lot more company. Because that stands, the company stands for, it's Apple. The switch on Nikes. Which is those in the tagline businesses are actually more valuable.
Yeah, it's
So we do it.
similar.
We value people's money.
Money.
We can structure the deal. Do we structure it as equity? Do we structure it as debt? We structure it as a combination of the two. Those are all things that we can solve for and we can help you with. Then you build it.
Love it.
You come in, you look at the other owner. Did the other owner not see opportunities? Sometimes it's systems, sometimes it's structure,
How
sometimes it's just things in the business that make it healthier.
meetups, but the conferences straight up.
And then
They are.
generate investment partners.
Like,
Some- just the business.
see,
Did y'all know that you can also take fees? You can take an acquisition.
Right.
The business to reimburse you for your time and your fee. You can also enrich ourselves. But here is I want you to remember. Number one, trust takes trust, which is why we get two. Database that you can go back to raise capital much more efficiently. And the most important is the last one. You want to be in a position when you make an offer to buy a business where you feel confident, raise them, have soft commitments to raise them, so that you can go and negotiate from a place of strength. Cash is king in any business. And to have a fund that is considered capital, always know. When we bid on a piece of estate, we would typically bidder. State broker, and we sell, we get cash in the bank. We're paying cash and we 10 days. For where the other party needs to go raise the capital, or perhaps has to go qualify for a loan. Successful, and your and falls apart, and you find yourself in the market again in 60, 90 days, or do you want to take a lesser and close it in 2 weeks? Just king in it. Some case studies here. 30 days. They came to me with confidence, didn't have fun. We helped them. He's raising $10 million, and you can see here the success he's had. Basically, Nick is actually out in Las Vegas. In 6 years and 2 months, he's HVAC. You can see this young lady, 19 million in 60 days in Australia, Helen. She's a real estate entrepreneur. She didn't have any investors. Today, she's bringing conversations to our, she's bringing people. So what's questions? Any questions about raising capital, about structuring deals, about what we do and how we can actually help you? If you want to get on our newsletter, which I highly recommend, with education content, the easiest thing to do, send me a check. You're not a, and just say, hey, newsletter. It's all digital, so every month, and you got a lot of great information. Raise capital, how you can structure your deals, how you can find investors, how you can partner with people in the industry, how you can do joint. So any questions?
You said, I said, somebody recommended that. Not the hardest thing.
Sure. So whenever you're raising capital from investors, talked about earlier, you're in the secure. You have consuming process that most people don't want to have to go through. You can find an exemptions, and one of the most is this exemption we call Regulation D. And some of you may have heard about Reg D, which means you can raise money from family and friends and from non-accredited investors. Another avenue is Reg D 506C that allows us to advertise and use social media and do a lot of other things as long as my investors are accredited. So we find that an exemption, just put together the fund. And that is the process of typically hiring a legal team to draft a memorandum. Okay, when you buy a public stock, typically the broker or the financial advisor is given prospectus. So if you ever bought Amazon or Facebook or any, typically in the mail, you get prospectus. That is the equivalent on a public company. And then we put together an offering document that says, here's all of the terms of the offer. Here's the structure. You're putting up the money. You're going to get 70% or 80% of all the revenues and all the upside, and we're going to do the work of managing it. And basically, you just go to market, just like we're talking about here, and you raise the capital from investors. And the beautiful thing about it is the portals and platforms that will actually now, with technology, do a lot of the back-end management for you. So it's not nearly as challenging as you would think it is, because once the person invests, the software will calculate the distributions. The software will calculate the participation, and it actually becomes a fairly easy process once you actually start moving forward. The key is you just got to, like I said, take an action and don't listen to this, because then you'll never do it. Yeah. But we'll help you and hold your hand each step of the way. There was a question over here. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, because your very favorite commercial real estate raising capital. Was your skill?
What's that?
Yeah, that's smart and I also have investments. So my question is, last year I raised $1 million for 2 multi-family deals. I feel I didn't spend so much effort, just like in my network. But this year is I feel very challenging because a lot of people become more conservative in investing in because some of their other deals they have capital call or cost distribution. So this year our deal is as good as last year. Very challenging. I have to make capital for my family. So how to what kind of strategy use to make people more confident to invest in multi-family?
That's so the question is, a lot of people invest in multifamily. Right? Interest rates were low years ago. In mature finance, which are just distressed, or they have to suspend, or worse yet, cut in the space. She's saying, so there's a way to address that as you're talking to investors, and that is to just put it right out in the middle of the room and just say, you know, a lot of in the multifamily space bought real estate many years ago. Interest rates were low, and a lot of those deals now are distressed, and obviously that's put a let's look at where we are today. We're in a very different environment, and then what you is you at the deal to say either we're buying we're going to have the adjustable rate, and we're not going to have any risk of that going forward. Be able to deliver each of those distributions. So that's one way. The other, to diversify your network and other networks. One thing that I learned many years ago is constantly scaling how you become successful to reach the masses. There are people in small boutique wedding investment advisors might have 20 or 50 or compliance. So once they know, trust you and know you're through that diligence, say, hey, we co-host an event together. It's to me like what would very so, so now you an event. Here's the best part. That's doing all the work for the families to get to a nice venue, some advertisers, the family, and then they're going to do all the work after that. What you think about the event last night? Oh, it's great. We want to put 100,000 in. And then they're going to go to the next family. What do you think? Oh, we think we should probably do 2 or 250. Before you know it, that one evening is sending you $2 or $3 million. And then you just rinse and repeat that process. And finding those types of people is not really as challenging, as difficult as you think it is, because there's a lot of free databases online that you access investment advice in any city across the United States. We can.
Could you come on stage and I'll should grab his mic real quick and then turn it. But like pretty soon.
Building with your. What have you found more, building your brand online as yourself or as?
And it's really both. Obviously, yourself is very important. And this is really interesting. I was actually telling somebody earlier, I think it was actually Kemp. I was listening to Mark Cuban speak on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. And he said, now with the advent of social media and how everybody's all over the internet, right? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, there's all these platforms. He said, what you have to realize as a business owner is you're not in business. You're in show business. And think about that. Business, you're in show business. The more people that know you, the more people are going to flow you, as Grant Cardone would say, right? People know you, they're going to flow you. So think about how you can leverage social media as a person, but also as a business. The brand, like I said, will actually become more valuable than the company. Now, I want this to be a fact, because many years ago, when I was working raising capital for SmartStop as the head of capital markets, we had a real estate portfolio, self-storage properties. Now time to sell. The first offer we received was from CubeSmart. They're one of the top 3 operators in that space. Okay, $900 million cash. A few weeks later, Extra Space. Same point. No. What does a smart CEO say to himself? Like, these are some of the biggest, best companies in this industry. And these knuckleheads are getting did they see that they didn't see? So he was curious. Like if it was 10 million or 20 million, I wouldn't be thinking this way, but when some guys and I don't know. So he called CEO. It's Michael here. I'd like to know why we should go with yours. See, so Michael, I want to buying the real estate. Reputation it stands for. You wonderful brand. That's what we're paying for, Michael. He said, thank you. That's what I needed to hear. And what it stands for, well, actually, actual assets. Okay. And so he said, now for me, it's all about branding. On every property he has in his portfolio, the door is blue, just like Public Storage is orange, just like Extra Space is green. And I have a good friend by the name of John Williams, who used to own Post Properties, which was the largest operator of multifamily across North America. He said on every apartment we have across the whole entire portfolio, in every unit is a burgundy color like a glass, because of Feng Shui, that's an inviting color. And so that's how we welcome our guest home. But you see, if you think of how you can brand it with maybe a tagline or a logo, and you realize that if you're going to sell the portfolio as one exit, you can brand the entire business and create a huge premium for yourself and also for your investment partners, just like Michael did. Yep. All right, you guys, sticking around, so thank you so much. We'll turn it back over to Nathan.
Yeah. A round of applause.
There you go.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully you guys grabbed a few nuggets there. You know, Brad, he's obviously been there, done that. He's got a lot of wisdom. Like I said, I don't try to on the stage, quote unquote, just to make sure that we're getting deep into what you guys can expect. And also what you can expect next is refreshments. So we do have lunch. It has been served. It's right in the back. We're looking forward to getting that out for you guys. But thank you so much for being here. We'll take a little bit of an intermission right now. Fill up your stomach. Then we'll do our fireside chat here with Neil. And thank you so much for coming to the AIQ Austin Fall Tour.